Alright everyone, now we've got a challenge to anti-gunnery from the Gun Owners of America. Yes, they do it best. I'm thinking about joining their organization actually, because they're actually pulling weight. Yes, I know some of you out there say, well, the NRA still files lawsuits and stuff. Okay, yeah. The NRA has been less effective than Gun Owners of America. I'm just going to put that out there. I have no problem with the NRA. Charlton Heston for the win, etc. Best Captain Silver you could possibly have. Looks like his reincarnation, Barbecue, now runs Haiti, so for what it's worth, literal Pirates of the Caribbean, and he seems more sane than the current reigning government of Haiti. Anyway, they're suing the state of Illinois, and they're trying to get their case before SCOTUS. Now, Illinois has effectively banned assault-style weapons, under the premise that they are dangerous and unusual. I would like to point something out. Right now, a felon in the United States, in most states anyway, can mail order a flamethrower. Dangerous and unusual, my ass. I've got an AR-15. It's a standard rifle. It's a standard semi-automatic rifle that happens to use magazines. The fact that it looks uber scary means nothing. I'm sure that there are modifications out there that'll make it topically and aesthetically look more like an old bolt-action rifle. If you want the wooden stock and stuff, you can probably get it because they're so modular that you can basically get anything for them. Still haven't gotten the sights that I want. Still not 100% sure which ones to go with. I'll figure it out, don't worry. It's just a standard rifle. Yeah, I mean, it's high-powered in the sense that it's more powerful than a .22 or something like that. You're not even legally allowed in the state of Vermont to hunt deer with an AR-15 if it's chambered .556, by the way, of course, because it's not considered to be powerful enough. The animal might suffer, or you hit them wrong and then they're just injured. They don't die. So people go out with their 50 caliber bolt actions instead. As far as I know, that's still on the books. You're not allowed to hunt deer in the state of Vermont with that kind of rifle. I don't know if you converted it to 300 blackout. I'm not sure that that's covered under it, though. I'm not actually sure of the performance of those 2 rounds. Some people have told me I should convert the AR to 300 blackout and then suppress that and get subsonic rounds, because then it'll be a lot quieter. I'm considering it. 100% no. I don't know. It's the Barbie doll for men, supposedly. But there are a lot of people out there that just don't understand firearms at all. They just don't understand them. It's like a couple of states tried to limit magazine capacity to 10 rounds, not realizing that the standard capacity for a lot of handguns is 15. Like, I've got a Glock 17. It's got 15 round magazines. 15 plus 1 if you walk around with one chambered, which I don't do. If they were to impose such a condition in the state of Vermont, then it would be impossible to own one, unless they don't grandfather it in. And thankfully, the state of Vermont doesn't do a lot of grandfathering with its anti-gunnery, and we don't have as much as many blue states. I mean, Illinois is taking the cake here. In California, it already got struck down. It is self-evident that that kind of weapon would be not only smiled upon by the founders, but applauded heavily. Every one of the founding fathers would have wanted an AR-15. They would have thought it hilarious. They would have fucking loved the idea. They also would have wanted Tommy guns and howitzers and shit like that. They were familiar with the state-of-the-art military weapons of the day, and not one of them ever said a mumbling fucking word about the advancement of weapons. Over the course of their lifetime, they saw the musket, for example, on the battlefield, where you can fire, if you're average, you can fire 2 or 3 shots in a minute. If you're really elite, you might be able to get 5 shots off. It depends on your training level. The old 2 shots a minute thing, that standard doesn't hold up. With topical training, you could at least get a 3rd in. Not impressive, I will warrant, and of course it's a musket, so you've got the Albus effect and other problems, or Magnus effect. I can't remember which one it is. But anyway, there were other weapons on the battlefield. You had the Giardoni rifle. True, it was pneumatic, but it would hit pretty much as hard as a musket, and it was semi-automatic and effectively magazine-fed, so they understood that that technology was possible. You had the Kalthoff repeater. It's not semi-auto, it's a lever action, it's a repeating rifle, but it was there for what it's worth. You did have revolvers. They were only single action, but still, if you got 7 shots in the locker as opposed to having to manually reload every time, you do have a little bit of an advantage at short distances. The founders never had a problem with any of these advancements. The last founder, I think, died in 1828, I think it was Hamilton, if I remember correctly. I think it was 1823, somewhere around that period of time, the 1820s. Over that time, from the Revolutionary period, over those 3 decades, weapons did advance. They became better. The Kaufhof was repeatedly modified, etc., etc. Revolvers became more common, although again they were still single action. You had all sorts of experimental weapons. You had the puckle gun, etc. None of them had a problem with these things. In fact, they invested time into studying them and attempting to research if they were useful for militia's purposes. The militias, the people at large, they were understood to own their own arms and muster in time of need. Having a standing army does not nullify the rights of the militia. They're totally separate things. I've heard people before try to claim, well, the militia, that means the National Guard. No, no, it doesn't. The National Guard are just militia that are being quasi-governmentally trained and held aside for quicker mustering. If anything, they should offer free National Guard-style training to all citizens, and we should subsidize it. Oh wait, ROTC exists. We already basically do that. Everyone should take military training, or at the very least be competent in basic field medicine and the use of a firearm. You don't need to own 20 guns, but you should own a gun. If any of you out there don't own any firearms and you're capable of doing so, I suggest that you pick one up. Just get a cheap .22 revolver or something. Go plinking at a range or something. Maybe you got land, plink away at a tree trunk. You know, it's all good. It's fun. As long as it's a little .22 or something, it's not going to be terribly loud either, so don't worry, you probably won't go deaf. Just make sure that you study gun safety first. It'll take you a couple of hours out of your day, and it's a real big problem, a real waste of time now, ain't it, to be able to defend yourself adequately. Mainly, like, why do I want an assault-style weapon, an AR-15, which I got, again, from a Pathfinder there? There's always the possibility, living on the edge of the North Woods, that a rabid coyote staggers out of the woods and proceeds to try to chomp up the cats. I don't really want to use a .22 revolver in that situation. There's always the possibility that a bear staggers out of the woods, a big 400-pounder. I don't think that my .380 is going to do very much against him. Hopefully I can just scare it off. By the way, if anything like that happens and the animal's clearly not rabid, I will fire a warning shot because I'd rather not kill the fucking animal. Rather scare it off. If it develops a fear of humans, it's less likely to re-offend. That's the hope, but I would stand a chance. You know, plink it from the window or whatever. But, yeah, everyone should own a rifle and a pistol. It's like, in my case, I've got my plinking gun. That's a .22, which is funny. It was given to me by my grandfather. I've got the thing that I carry every day, the .380, the Glock 380. I don't want over-penetration if I'm in a public scenario. I don't really want to use the 9, that's the G17, because I would be afraid, like, what if I fire at an assailant, and the bullet goes through them, through just soft flesh, and, I don't know, hits a hostage that's right behind him or something. I'd rather that not happen. I'm not interested in killing somebody who's doing nothing wrong, so I'll use the .380. Sure, it's less powerful. Sure, I've got less shots in me locker, but I think I can manage. I'm a pretty good shot with it, and in an urban setting, it's probably indoors. You're not killing somebody at 100 yards, so it probably doesn't make a terrible bit of difference. And then I've got the AR that was sent to me by Pathfinder Defense. Well, that's good for bear staggers out of the woods, rabid coyote or something like that. And there's a skunk with rabies trying to spray the cats down with both poison and fumes. I think that I want to be able to defend the animals. Somebody breaks in. It's always a possibility. I mean, there are home invasions, not this far out in Rutland usually, but it does happen sporadically. I want to be able to respond in a competent manner. It's just the fucking way it is. So, Gun Owners of America, trying to take down Illinois' bullshit law, because you should be able to buy whatever kind of weapon you want. And when I say I'm pro-Second Amendment, I mean that I'm pro being able to mail-order machine guns. Hell, you can already do that with a flamethrower, so why the fuck not? Manufacture more Tommy guns, at least they look cool. That's about all. Peace out.